When I last spoke in this chamber 12 months ago, I had just inherited a nation in crisis with a stagnant economy, inflation at record levels, a wide open border, horrendous recruitment for military and police, rampant crime at home, and wars and chaos all over the world. But tonight, after just 1 year, I can say with dignity and pride that we have achieved a transformation like no one has ever seen before.
Greetings, my PPPN family. This is Bold Perspectives Network. I'm Mr. Red. Now, last night, you may have seen the State of the Union given by Donald Trump in his second term. And if you did, I'm sorry for you. I'll be honest, I didn't watch the whole thing. I watched a few highlights. I listened to a few things that people said. And then I just realized I knew that he was going to lie. I knew he was going to have a perspective. You're going to have people clapping for shit that they shouldn't clap about. That's what I kind of dismissed it and chalked it up as. But now in hindsight, especially after the video that I showed you with what this administration is trying to do when it comes to mass surveillance, make sure that you stick around to the end of the video so you can check that video out if you haven't seen it. But what I'm going to tell you right now is this State of the Union is very disturbing. It's very disturbing because this is a man who is obsessed with the 2020 election and how he should have won. This man was not cheated. If anything, I believe with Trump, everything is a confession. And I believe that it was rigged for him, and the mail-in ballots is what made him lose the 2020 election. But today, we're going to look at a couple clips from some people discussing the what I believe is the most dangerous part about the State of the Union speech and why it matters to you. We have much to discuss. Let's strap in. Let's get after it.
The reason they don't want to do it, why would anybody not want voter ID? One reason, because they want to cheat. There's only one reason. They make up all excuses. They say it's racist. They come up with things, you almost say, what imagination they have. They want to cheat, they have cheated, and their policy is so bad that the only way they can get elected is to cheat, and we're going to stop it.
Do you see what I mean? Do you see Donald Trump is using the same tactics that he has used to get elected, to have people believe that he's going to do something for them, and which he hasn't. He's only working for himself. You have to understand that this man is openly saying at the State of the Union that the other side is going to cheat. He's trying to dissuade you. He's doing exactly what he did in 2020. Before the run up to 2020, what did he do? He said the same thing, that if the Democrats win, then they cheated me. And that's the only way they can do it. And when he did lose, what did he do? He mobilized and sent people to the Capitol, and that led to an insurrection. And let's call it what it is. It was an insurrection for which that he has not been held accountable for, and so much so that he not been held accountable, he actually pardoned a lot of the people that were involved in it, even though a few of them take responsibility for what happened that day, and now they see how much of a con man this dude is. But the dangerous thing that he's saying right now is that the only way that Democrats, if they win, they had to have cheated. And it's setting up something that I believe is going to be very dangerous. They're already mobilizing the National Guard in like all 50 states. Like, it's not going to be large enough National Guard to, one for people. The thing about it is that's not the point. The point is to intimidate. The point is to scare. The point is to have people nervous to go out. And where necessary, I believe that they will start some stuff because they will strategically put the most vile people, the people that took out Renee Good and Alex Preddy and others. These people are going to be in certain stations where Donald Trump feels that he would be cheated at, because I believe in his head, he believes some of it. I think he lies so much he believes his own farts, honestly.
You mentioned what people should be doing if they listen to their better angels. The thing that keeps ringing in my head, and it was low-key, I think, the worst moment of the speech, the most disturbing part of the speech, When Trump went on that tirade about how the Democrats can never win elections without cheating, it's bad enough when it comes from him. As I have to remind people all the time, Donald Trump is not a Gen Z influencer. He's not just some random guy. He's not even a successful pundit. He is the most powerful man on earth. And I subscribe to the Uncle Ben from Spider-Man school of power and responsibility. With great power comes great responsibility. The greatest power, the greatest responsibility. It's bad enough coming from him. But his entire party, Jess, they all stood and applauded when he was talking about Democrats can only win if they cheat in elections. And the midterms are coming up. So what does that do but send the most dystopian signal to resistance libs everywhere? Well, like, shit, we're on track to win the midterms, all else being equal. So what are you suggesting that you and your party will do if we win? Are you just not going to seat us? Are you going to deny the results? It's bad enough when it comes from Trump, but when the rest of the party stands up on live TV, yes, we're perfect, and we're the only legitimate winners of any election ever, and the only way they can win is if they cheat.
If the Republicans should say, we want to take over, we should take over the voting in at least 15 places. The Republicans ought to nationalize the voting. And we have states that are so crooked, and they're counting votes. We have states that I won that show I didn't win.
This is extremely bad.
I can't guarantee that an ICE agent won't be around a polling location in November. I mean, that's frankly a very silly hypothetical question.
It's not a hypothetical. It's not silly. It is extremely real.
You're damn right. We're going to have ICE surround the polls come November. We're not going to sit here and allow you to steal the country again. And you can whine and cry and throw your toys out of the pram all you want.
They're actively telling us they're going to try to intimidate and suppress the vote in the midterms.
You heard what he said, right? So if you understood what he said, let me translate it for you. If you black and brown, or you a minority and you got a little funny accent, they're going to make sure ICE agents is right there to pack you up, and you're not going to be able to vote. Especially if you are a legalized, American-born citizen. They going to snatch you up right at the voting booths during the midterms. We knew this was going to happen. They know that once they lose the midterms, they are cooked. So they're going to do everything possible to make sure to intimidate, to scare you to not vote. This midterm election is the most important midterm elections in United States history, and they know it.
First of all, we're in a bad spot if that shit happens. But if that happens, everyone will know that this man isn't legit. Well, let me rephrase that. Anyone with a sensible brain. I believe that right there will turn off the fringe people that are still on the fringe MAGA, more independent, right, than the far right rate. The far right doesn't care. All right, we're going to talk about that in a future video too, but these people don't care. They are so miserable with their lives and their existence. It's the crabs in a barrel, right? They don't believe in this. This is why I make my case against Republicans. I understand, especially in the black community, you have people in the past that said, hey, the Republicans or the liberals are the problem, this, that, and the third. Basically, we should be Republicans. If Republicans held to the actual principles that they talked about, I can see why you would have people be conservative. But when you realize that everything they do, they have to cheat because their ideas aren't popular, is that the kind of democracy we really want to live in? We want to live in a democracy that we all agree that this shit is not working. And when we vote, we want it to work. The fact that you have this man already lying ahead of the midterms, just like he did in 2020, and that you have Republicans co-signing on it, it shows how morally bankrupt most of them are and why they should never be allowed to lead this country again. He made a third-term joke. Why would he do that if he wasn't serious or thinking about it? Again, this is Code Red, y'all.
Cheating your way to invalidating the results of the election is a very, very real threat. And I've been thinking about it a lot. I had Nancy Pelosi on last week and was asking her about this because there's been a lot of focus, rightfully so, on mail-in ballots and what happens at the polls on election day using ICE and poll watchers to intimidate people. But it's actually that period between election day and the day that folks are supposed to get seated I think it's the January 3rd this time, but the new January 6th. That's really the big deal here. And that's what, if you talk to smart election lawyers, that's what they're focused on. And Mike Johnson is not going to stand up for what's right. It took him 2 months to seat Congresswoman Grijalva. He does not care. He was an architect of January 6th. People don't usually think about that, but he was in on it bigly. Makes it all very clear that we need to win, and we need to win big, because there needs to be no doubt in anyone's mind who won this free and fair election. But any race that is even remotely close, and we have a lot of swing districts, and I think Dems are going to do very well in the House, but the map does not favor us, and it's only going to get worse, actually, as the new census kicks in 2030. Let's cry about that another night.
Yeah, we need to. We need to have a full-on cry session, because I could rant about that for hours. It's a big deal.
Mike Johnson is a sniveling coward, and everyone who supports him, you are just as sniveling and a coward as he is. He lies consistently. He tells you that it's Republicans who are for the American people, yet he will send them off on session. Instead of them being in Congress and doing their job, this cowardly bastard will send them off. It would not shock me. He would be involved in any type of nefarious thing to keep themselves in power, because I also believe that he has some culpability in this Epstein thing. I can't prove it, but at this point, past your better angels, given everything that you've heard and seen, that you don't believe that Trump is a criminal with these PDF files, how can you continue to support that? How can you stand up and clap for a man who has been involved in the things that he's been involved in? That should tell you right now what kind of people we're dealing with. This is very dangerous. And that's why make sure you stick around to the end to see my next video, so you can see the most dangerous thing that a lot of people aren't talking about. Stay vigilant, stay engaged, stay revolutionary.